was struggling to deal with. Might go all the way. They do go all the way. And it's the big Wallaby, the World Cup finalist with Australia, Scott Fardy.
Scott Fardy, good morning. On a morning like this when the sun is shining and you can hear the kids out and the green grass of the RDS is across the way, we can see the Aviva. UCD is only up the road. I mean, like, training and going at it just seems like a no-brainer, but there is the winter and there's the dark days. And are you happy with the decision you made?
Yeah, very happy. I think I came to this decision a long time ago. So, but yeah, you get to the end of the season and the weather's nice and the days are long, and suddenly you feel like, geez, I can go again. But then you remember actually November, December, January, and the days are short and very cold, and the body feels it. So, yeah, I'm grateful for the career I had and honoured to represent so many good teams and play with so many great players. So, yeah, ready for the next things in my life.
How is the body? I mean, 37 in 2 weeks' time, I think. I mean, you're not an old man by any means, but how is the body? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm all good. And I've actually, I look at the injuries other guys have had around me, and I've been pretty lucky. I haven't really been injured since probably 7 years since my last kind of stretch of missing games injured. So, I've managed my body pretty well over the last few years, and credit to Leinster, they got me through a lot of games here without missing any, and got Gareth Farrell and the team have done a great job, especially when I'm no athlete at all, so I don't know how they manage that at all. So the body's okay, but it gets to a point where you probably don't want to push it too far. You want to be able to do things with the kids and play golf and enjoy yourself, and that's something I'm looking forward to.
I mean, I don't know if today or yesterday was your official last day with Leinster, but you even spoke about earlier about being able to bring August to school in the mornings. I mean, are you looking forward to that? Just being a dad and being around and being able to do those simple things that, because of the nature of the role and being in Leinster at 7:30 in the morning every morning, that you've missed over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think not having to worry about looking after the body is great as well, because on a day like today, walking August to school in the sunshine is a really nice way to start the day. Obviously, I'm going to have other jobs and things to do soon, so other responsibilities. Hopefully, I'll probably be out earlier and work longer. I think. I appreciated that I probably had actually a fair bit of time with the family playing here at Leinster with the way the season works, and we didn't have to travel nearly as much as when you're playing test footy and stuff like that. So I've been very lucky to spend a lot of time with my two boys at home, and be here every morning when they wake up and put them to bed every night. So that's something that I've really treasured.
It goes without saying that Ireland and Dublin will hold a special place for you and your family. Certainly, the two lads born here.
Yeah, two little Irish boys. So, obviously very special. We came here as just the two of us, and then leaving as four, and with so many memories, and we've met so many people, wonderful people here. And, over the last few months, I've been stopped in the street by so many people saying such nice things to me, and don't know if it's deserved, but, it's been such a fantastic experience for me and the family. And, my wife was only crying as we were cleaning up the house today. She's really going to miss it here. And, people have been wonderful, and people complain about the weather, but it's actually been all right. So I think it's been good.
It's been a lovely time, as you said, for the Fardys, but it's been a lovely time for James Ryan as well. He couldn't have done it without the Fardys. Obviously, you gave him his big break in European rugby.
Yeah, no, he'd still be holding the bags if it wasn't for me, so to say. So, if I didn't miss that first game in Europe, I think no one would have heard of James Ryan. So, you might be playing for Lansdowne or something like that. So hopefully he would have got through.
Bring me back to that first season, Scott, and you arrive into Leinster. What was it about Leinster that appealed to you? Because you might get to this in a bit. You were, I think it's fair to say, a late starter in terms of professional rugby, but by the time you were coming to Leinster, I mean, you were Australian international, you'd played in Super Rugby, obviously you had that spell in Japan. So what is it about Leinster that kind of said, yeah, I want to head there, possibly finish out my career there, and that's where I want to go?
Yeah, I think I wanted to play big games in Europe and in front of big crowds, and I think domestically, I think you've probably seen the game in the south. It doesn't have that draw that it does up here in the north. You're not getting big crowds at domestic games and big occasions, and obviously it's been very disappointing over the last, say, 15, 18 months that we haven't had those crowds. But those are the special memories I hold, is playing in a packed out Aviva in a quarter final, or even just the Christmas games and things like that. I think I want to experience that, and I want to experience that as a player, and it's something I'd always wanted to do. I wasn't. I came over here, I'd experienced such a great I'd had such a great time at the Brumbies and with the Wallabies, and I was getting to an age where, you know, it was probably last chance to make a decision of going overseas, and you know, to have the experience I did in that first season and on from there was great. And you know, I think European rugby is special, and I really enjoyed it here.
Well, now that you've come through the 4 years with Leinster, I suppose what's your reflections on that time, and in particular the Leinster system, or what's special about Leinster?
Yeah, I think it's really special, you know, to play alongside guys, and we're essentially playing with guys they grew up with, and you know, their best mates playing together. You know, from all around Leinster. You know, you've got guys that, you know, from here playing for Lansdowne or in Offaly or Laois or Wexford or, you know, wherever. You know, they're from this area, and that's really special. I think you know, to come as an outsider and be part of that, and you know, be accepted in that group is something that I'll, you know, forever treasure and be honoured. You know, I think there's no place in the world like it where you have, you know, guys come from that, you know, they come from a certain area, and such a small area really in terms of, you know, the rugby world, and all play together with their best mates and have those shared experiences, which I think is, you know, just incredibly special.
Listening to you speak a couple of weeks ago, and you mentioned that semi-final against the Scarlets and just how special an occasion it was. Yeah,
you know, I think yeah, playing, you know, you look back at those times and you can't fathom it. I think Toulouse the following year, we're playing the semi-final, big crowd, weather's great, all those things. You know, I think the players have really missed those days. You know, even though we've had some, you know, a couple of good wins in between those, and with no crowd, it's just not really good. I mean, we got a taste of what it's like to have a little bit of a crowd back on last week, and you know, I look forward to seeing from afar and hopefully visiting and being in a packed Aviva or packed RDS and even packed down in Munster as well, and going and watch a big game and seeing the spectacle that is rugby, because I think rugby without fans is just not the same, and it's not the real game. So I look forward to seeing, you know, all our guys play in front of big stadiums.
The 1,200 that we did have in the RDS on Friday, and for so long it looked like we wouldn't even get a test event like that. Especially as it was to have the supporters, but to have your own family around you as well. For so long it looked like your time in Leinster would peter out really, and without that occasion to say goodbye to so many people. But to say goodbye, and even August on the pitch with you afterwards, and you know, he was kind of like, they were all cheering for Daddy. I mean, like, he'll have those memories now, whereas, you know, 2 years without that for him, he possibly wouldn't have had them in years to come.
Yeah, that was really special. I think, you know, to have a small crowd, and you know, have obviously my wife and August there, and the baby's probably asleep. We put the baby to sleep. We weren't taking him out that age. I don't know what they're doing with those 8:15 kickoffs, but yeah, and to have them there was really special. I think, yeah, and obviously some great photos, and you know, he probably didn't understand the magnitude of the occasion for myself, and you know, but he'll be able to look back on that and see it, and that's really special. And it's a real shame he missed out in other games, but yeah, we're thankful we got that last one.
Stuart Lancaster referred to you as the forwards Issa Nathewa a couple of weeks ago. Why do you think that is, and what traits do you know Issa very well? You've played with him, so what traits do you think you have that would emulate what, I suppose, the legacy that Issa left on the club?
I don't think I have many traits similar to Issa, because you know, he was just such a fantastic leader, and you know, obviously we're both from, what's it called, Antipodean. I haven't heard that word until I moved to Ireland, so I've never heard of it. So yeah, you know, to have a year under Issa was such a fantastic. I saw what he meant to the other players as well, so that was really fantastic for me. I think for my remaining 3 years to know, yeah, how the player that Issa was and how he was so respected was, you know, it was an experience that I really treasured, because you know, I saw what players actually thought of him, and how we kind of refer to him now, even, you know, 3-4 years on, you know. So yeah, I'll be ever thankful for that time that I had with Issa.
What would you like if I was to ask I don't know, whoever in 5 years' time, what do you remember of Scott Fardy's time at the club? What would you like them to remember?
I guess you know, I think if purely for the players that I've played around to have a good time, and we enjoyed our time together. I said someone the other day, it's just you start playing the game just to have fun with your mates, and then when you become a pro, then the lines get blurred and it starts becoming really serious and all those things. But at the end of the day, you just do it to have fun, and then obviously it's great to get paid for it and all those things, and I'm grateful for the money you get from it, which has been fantastic. But I think it goes back to, you know, you started playing a game to enjoy it and play with your mates, and that's I got 30 years of doing that. 32 years of playing the game that I love with my mates. So, I hope my mates enjoyed playing alongside me.
Was there ever a danger that it wasn't going to progress from playing with your mates to being professional?
Oh yeah, very much so. I think, there was times when I couldn't get a crack, and I broke my leg when I was about 17. So I think it was my schoolboy year in Australia, and I was getting there, kind of getting into the gym and things like that and working to it. I was pretty lazy, lackadaisy kind of person, and probably you see me now in Leinster, I wouldn't use the gym that much, and I probably won't use it ever again. But I was actually training. I broke my leg, and then I had to kind of start again. I didn't have much support there. Didn't have physio work and things like that. So and then I went to Taringa, and it was my club which I played since I was 10 years old. And worked my way through the grades out of first grade, and I never thought that I'd actually get past that. To play first grade for my club was such a huge honour. I remember being a kid in the crowd and watching Wallabies come back and playing against, Ringa first grade side, and just thinking, geez, I want to play for Ringa first grade. That's what I wanted to do. So, and then to go on and obviously, play for the Brumbies and play for the Wallabies is such a bit of a shock, and a bit of something I never thought would happen. So hugely honoured to have the career I have.
What was again, I don't know if the terminology is right here, but what was the switch, or what happened? Because you were with the Force. I mean, you can kind of say it's mapped out to kick off, but it didn't kick off. You went off to Japan for 3 years, and then obviously that opportunity came with the Brumbies. But what happened in those 3 years that made the Brumbies kind of say, oh, there's something here that maybe the Force didn't see? And I'm not pitting the Force against the Brumbies here, but what was it what happened in those 3 years, I suppose, to turn you into a professional and to kind of put you on the road to Super Rugby and international?
Yeah, I think, I got my chance at the Brumbies. I remember, I didn't get a game at the Force, and I wasn't the best trainer. I never have been. So, to get my chance at the Brumbies was fantastic. And, I think, I remember the huge sense of relief, because I'd been 23rd man, or at that stage I was only 22, so I'd been the extra guy about 5 times, I think, at the Force, and at Waratahs once in the academy, and once at the Brumbies before that. And when I finally got named that side, there was just a huge sense of relief that I'm going to get a chance to actually show what I can do. So, I think I just got the chance, and the Brumbies are a fantastic club, full of great people, and the 6 years I spent there were so special as well. I think really disappointed. I look back at my career, disappointed we didn't win the super title there, but had some really good victories and some great moments. Once again, playing with some of my great mates, and moments I really treasure.
It'd be fair to say that once you got that opportunity and you saw your name on that team sheet or the squad list, that you then had the bit between your teeth and you were just determined to get after it and get at it and make up for lost time and get as much out of your career as you could. Yeah,
I think so. I think once I got a chance, and I just really enjoyed it, and I think I've always just played well with good players. So when I'm playing with other good players, it's just they help me. So I've been lucky enough to at Leinster and Brumbies, and even Commercial Sea Waves and the Wallabies, to play with some really good players, and hopefully that I worked well with them and made them a better player as well. Your time in Leinster, so a Champions Cup title, 4 Guinness Pro 14 titles, but there was a little bit of controversy, if that's fair to say, in particular in those early days. That 3-2 rule. Even as I say it to you there, you're going but it was frustrating, and it was difficult for yourself, for Jemison, and for James Lowe as well. Yeah, it was difficult. They thought I had a granny from Wexford, but it was probably a few generations before that. So we couldn't manage to pull that one out of the hat, and I was lucky enough that I played all, most of the big games, and I was involved, and the other two probably missed out on a few big ones, and couple of 2 finals, and then we're all such good mates as well. So we all at the time, I remember when Lowe missed out in the 2018 final, I felt so bad, but he was such a good guy around the squad. Around that, he carried on like he scored the winning try in the game in the dressing room anyway. So it was special, and it's great to see those guys go on and play for Ireland, and go on and play many times for Leinster now and be the players that they are now. Yeah.
there is a lot of talk and outside, but also inside of the culture of the place. And one of the pillars, I suppose, of that culture, which the players talk about often, is brotherhood. But something like that really tests it. I mean, it's all well and good having words on a wall, but something like that tests it, because if you're not all bought into it, then you don't have a Lowy celebrating like he scored the winning try in Bilbao, or where the roles were reversed a couple of weeks later and Jemison was the one on the bench or in the stands in the Aviva. So times like that really test the foundation of the culture of a club and a team.
Yeah, I think, you know, you don't have to look far to see other guys that are, you know, disappointed, even with, you know, the other night and me finishing up. And, you know, I look back 12 months ago and Rob and, you know, guys like Rob and Ferg, who've been such servants to the club, you know, didn't get to see, you know, say bye to their family and walk off the field. And I think for every 23 players, there's, you know, 30 players probably that aren't involved that week that are disappointed and you know, want to play in those big games. So it's all part of it. And, you know, the good thing about Leinster is you're going to get your opportunity, and Leo and Stuart, they're going to pick you. You know, they're going to give you a chance. So it's all up to you. You're not going to sit the whole season out without playing. You're going to get a chance to show your wares. You
managed to walk off that field in the RDS on Friday with another Antipodean, Michael Bent. Word about Benty and what he's meant for this club and the legacy that he's left in his 9 seasons.
Yeah, so he's some character in events, but yeah, I really enjoyed our time together. We've been to all the dark days and away games at 7:30 on a Saturday night somewhere, and you know he's been there with those young guys, and you know knowing that you're going to get 2 or 3 scrum penalties a game's a nice way to be, isn't it? So yeah, such a fantastic operator around the scrum, you know, a wealth of knowledge around that, you know, and now starts to score tries after going 100 games without scoring a try, something like that.
Prolific, I think.
Prolific now in the last 18 months, pretty much since lockdown, he's just started scoring tries left, right, and centre. So
one more year.
One more year, I think. You know, I think he could get going, but obviously, you know, I think it's been difficult for the guys, for like himself. Myself have been away from family for a long time now, and without having them come visit and without seeing it, I think he, you know, probably wanted to get home and see some family.
But just a word about family and, you know, and Penelope and what she's had to sacrifice over the last 4 years and coming here, and again over the last 18 months, so difficult. Like, I remember chatting to you, and I think you had an aunt coming over, giving you a dig out at various stages, and family members coming and going, and you haven't had that the last 18 months, but even over the 4 years to move so far away, and the sacrifices that your partners and spouses and girlfriends and whatever make for those players that make that journey, you couldn't be the player you are if you don't have the support around you.
Yeah, she probably moved to Canberra from Sydney when I was there as well. So she made that decision to move, and then came to Ireland 6 months pregnant, which is, you know, crazy looking back on it that we did that, and you know, to move here, and then, but like she'll say herself, she loved it here, and so glad. So we made the decision to come here as well. So but yeah, it has made massive sacrifices for me, like all the wives do, and partners, and you know, they put their own careers on hold to allow us to selfishly live our dreams, and yeah, forever grateful for that. And hopefully I don't drag her too many places after this, after trying to pack the house up. But things change, and we probably haven't, as you say, you haven't had the dig out. You know, you haven't got the parents around the corner and those things, but that's what we're used to. So you know, I know other guys would be dropping their kids around to the parents before games and things like that. And you know, I'm used to having, you know, coffee with the son in the morning, and just getting used for games, having kids around and all those things. And yeah, it's been a great experience, and we look forward to actually having some parents around the corner now. But yeah, we look forward to many adventures ahead though.
What do you miss most about your time in Dublin and Leinster?
It sounds soppy, but I think the people. I love the people here in Ireland. I think I met so many great guys within the team and from outside the team, and I've been treated so well in the city. People come up to me and say, as I said before, such nice things, and I think everyone's been so lovely to us. I think people of Ireland are incredibly friendly. They are in Australia. We're a bit more narky in Australia and things like that, but we're different, a bit more, how would I say, sarcastic in Australia, maybe, I think. I think the people have been fantastic. It's been a great experience. I don't know what to say.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. And then just, you mentioned about 30 years of playing rugby with your mates. I presume Now it's about getting home and spending time with your mates and with family and looking forward to that next chapter.
Yeah, I think it's get back to Australia for a bit and sit still for a bit, but not too long because I don't like sitting still for too long. So I'll be back into something soon and get the mind busy and get on with it. So I've looking back at it, probably the career took a while to get going, but then lasted a long time after that. So very grateful for all the people that have helped me in my career and to get to where I am now, and look forward to the next chapter.
Without putting you on the spot with that next chapter, you have mentioned an interest in coaching. I know you have a business interest at home as well. So, as you said, you're not going to be sitting idle for too long. No,
I'll be back into it soon. So, hoping to get things formalised soon. But formalised, is that a word?
Formalised is a word. Yeah, we can use that.
Yeah, moving on things now. So, let's first get home, see some family, and catch up with some people that are special to me.
Well, Scott Fardy, on behalf of everyone in Leinster Rugby, thanks a million for your stellar 4 years in blue, and we wish you all the very best of luck back home.
Thanks very much, mate. Thank you.